should we take a recess and go back and do that?
Are they ready?
Because staff is not ready.
Huh?
Are they?
Are they ready?
Closed session.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, okay. They're ready.
Come forth.
And Mr.
Come
City
forth,
Attorney,
Victims.
Mr. City Attorney, while we're at a little momentary pause here, do we need to make reference to the fact that we are going back into closed session?
I was going to do that after we're concluded with the joint
very
meeting.
good.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. All right. This will be then the Tuesday, February 17th, 2009, joint public meeting of the Glendale City Council, the Glendale Redevelopment Agency, and the Glendale Housing Authority. Mr. City Clerk, could you call the roll for the council?
Council members Najarian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Yusefian.
Here.
Mayor Draymond.
Here.
And for the agency, please.
Agency members Draymond.
Here.
Quintero. Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Yusefian.
Here.
Chairman Najarian.
Here.
For housing, please.
Authority members Draymond.
Here.
Mincy.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Karazian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Yusefian.
Here.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kosaki. And if I could also trouble you to read the item at 1, A, B, C, D, and E.
Sure. The agenda,
Well, let's have your report first.
The agenda for the February 17, 2009 joint public meeting of the Glendale City Council, the Glendale Redevelopment Agency, and the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, February 12, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall in compliance with the Brown Act.
Thank you, Mr. Kosaki, and sorry about that.
No problem. And the public hearing today is the Director of Community Development and Housing regarding proposed affordable multifamily rental housing project to be located at 3685 San Fernando Road. At 1A is an agency resolution amending mitigation monitoring program. At 1B is a council resolution making certain findings under California redevelopment law and approving the lease of certain property for Star City Lights. At C is agency resolution making certain findings under California redevelopment law and approving the lease of certain property to Star City Lights. And at D is a authority resolution to enter into an affordable housing agreement, an agreement to lease real property by and between the Glendale Housing Authority and Star City Lights for the development of affordable multifamily rental housing project. And at E is authority resolution appropriating $26,120,847 to provide funds for the project.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kosaki. Yes, Mr. Weaver.
Can I do what you usually do, housekeeping?
Absolutely. It's just that I don't have any speaker cards at this time.
Well, no, when we make the motions, can we do the agency together, the authority together?
Yes,
Or do we
Mr.
have to
City Attorney,
separate
we usually
entities?
ask that question. Mr. Weaver beat me to it, so let's...
Councilmember Weaver, yes, you can make each of the individual agency motions together, so the agency motion,
Okay.
authority motion, the council motion.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Weaver, for the clarification. All right. I have no speaker cards on this whatsoever, so I guess you all are here just for purely to watch, I guess, informational. So let me see if we can go to Mr. Zovak, perhaps.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the Council, Housing Authority, and Redevelopment Agency. Community Development and Housing staff and Vassar City Lights have been in discussions regarding the feasibility of developing a new affordable multifamily rental housing project at 3685 San Fernando Road. On July 8, 2008, the Housing Authority entered into a letter of loan commitment with the developer for proposed 5-story, 72-unit rental project for lower-income households. The purpose of the letter of loan commitment was to reserve Housing Authority funds for the project, allow the developer to submit a tax credit application to the state of California, and advance the project through the City of Glendale entitlement process. All of those conditions have been met, and the tax credits are required to be secured and the project be in a state of readiness, construction readiness, by March 9th, 2009. So to accommodate that, an affordable housing agreement between the Housing Authority and the developer has been prepared. Per the terms of the Housing Authority, the Authority will provide approximately $13.9 million in assistance to the project. The overall project development costs are approximately $36.4 million. And that assistance will be in the form of redevelopment housing set-aside funds. These funds will be will consist of a residual receipt loan from the Authority to the developer, and the loan will be repaid based upon the annual residual receipts of the project. In addition, the proposed project will also include a ground lease component. Per the terms of the affordable housing agreement, the developer has agreed to convey fee title to the property to the authority and lease the property back from the authority for $1 per year in order to construct the project. The term of the ground lease is for 99 years after the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. And at any time after the 56th year of the lease, the housing authority will have the option of terminating the lease and purchasing the improvements on the property as payment for the outstanding balance of the housing authority loan. There are a number of actions being requested associated with today's item. Action number 1 is the Glendale City Council and Redevelopment Agency adoption of a resolution making findings for the lease of land of Vassar City Lights, California Limited Partnership. The Glendale Housing Authority adoption of a resolution authorizing execution of an affordable housing and lease agreement with Vassar City Lights. Housing Authority adoption of a resolution of appropriation. And a Redevelopment Agency adoption of a resolution amending the mitigation monitoring programs for the proposed project. And just a couple of comments on a number of those items being presented to you. With regards to the resolution of appropriation, as it was read into the record, the resolution of appropriation is in the amount of $26 million. I just feel I need to explain that amount. If you recall, back in July, the authority provided a letter of loan commitment and appropriated funding at that time. In that particular case, it was general fund money as an interim measure until the housing authority was able to secure housing set-aside funds at a later time. As the actual assistance going to the project is $13.9 million from the housing authority. But the resolution is taking two actions. One is the $13.9 million of housing set-aside funds, plus it is reappropriating back the original $12.1 million, $12.2 million that the authority appropriated back in July. So that number, in reality, is not $26 million is not going to the project, only $13.9. We are just reappropriating back that $12 million to its original source. So that explains that. With regards to the mitigation monitoring program versus the one that was adopted by the agency, we are proposing one change to the program, and that's in your report. That is that the park fee that is typically payable at building permit issuance be deferred until certificate of occupancy. And then the third item are changes that have been made to the affordable housing agreement since this agreement has been printed and provided to the authority as part of their staff reports. And I just wanted to highlight some additional changes that are proposed. Pass that out. Really minor in nature. In the scope of things. The first change is, as it relates to the Affordable Housing Agreement, CARE Housing Services Corporation is the nonprofit managing general partner. The street address, the official street address, rather than 3685 San Fernando Road, it will have a building address on Vassar. So all the documents will be changed to reflect the new Vassar address. The schedule of performance, some dates have been inserted into the performance to reflect timing on construction, completion, and some milestones during the construction process. The disbursement agreement, method of financing, and project budget will be changed to reflect a contribution of $538,000 that represents tax credit capital contribution and thus will reduce the construction loan amount. The disbursement agreement will be changed in that some amounts will be inserted on the disbursement of funds in terms of funding that will be going out in different phases of the $13.9 million. Some cost-saving provisions have been changed to the previous method that was description that was provided in the method of financing, and that the method of financing and promissory note will be changed as well. And it has to do with the net additional funds that the project will be generating and those disbursement of those funds, both in how much money will be held back and out of escrow, in addition to the treatment of two sources of funds in the project, solar tax credits and solar rebates. Your report states a 50-50 split on both funding sources, and staff is requesting a change to have the 50-50 split remain on the solar rebates and have a 40% housing authority, 60% Vassar City Light split on the tax credits. So that's it. That's the extent of the changes on the Affordable Housing Agreement in my presentation. We do have representatives of Vassar City Lights here. The project architect is here, as well as their entitlement officer, and I believe that they're ready to make a presentation as to the final design components, if the authority would like to see that.
All right, let me inquire from my colleagues. Other than for informational purposes, do we have questions of those individuals?
I probably will, but I want to get a...
All right. Then I have two. Thank you. We don't feel alone now. Two speakers have submitted cards. First is Rodney Khan. And the second is Salim Karimi. Three. Thanks, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, authority members, and city staff. My name is Rodney Khan, and my offices are based here in the city of Glendale. Just a real brief refresher in terms of the site itself and the project itself. Our site was an excellent location for a few reasons. One was its close proximity to the Glendale Transportation Center, if you can recall. We're both within walking distance, and the Transit Center has both rail and buses for folks to get around town. Secondly, directly across from our street is Cerritos Park, an elementary school. So we thought that this was a very key location in the city for our project to be located in. A few of the other items that had come up, just in general terms, it's still a 72-unit project, 32 bedrooms with 42 three-bedrooms. Unit sizes range from 858 square feet to 1,175 square feet, and we have a total of 146 parking spaces, 106 on site and 40 in the adjacent site, which is also one of our projects. The last time we were before you, there was a few items that we had talked about. One was the green building standards, or sustainable techniques, that we had talked about, different methods that have been incorporated. I can go through a laundry list of them, but I'll just highlight a few of them to spare you. A few of them had to do with solar energy panels. I think Mr. Zovak talked about whatever the agreement was in terms of the credits for that, but primarily that the panels themselves are being purchased and are being included as part of this project is a very new, very exciting concept to start seeing both affordable housing projects and just market rate housing projects in our city start to move forward in use. Use of green label carpets, recycled contents, from formaldehyde-free building insulation, and the list goes on and on and on. We looked at both the LEED standards, what that was being proposed, also with the green building standards, and that's been included, which is an update from what you saw the last time you reviewed this project. In terms of the colors and the materials, they're pretty straightforward. There has been some finished details that have been looked at, studied, and concluded that it was the right materials to be using, both on the surface for the courtyard area, for the landscaping area where we have some drought-tolerant planting, also with just the finishes of the building itself. We have a color and material sample board. Our architect is here in the audience. If you'd like him to walk you through any of those colors and materials, he'll be happy to do it. Otherwise, I'll step aside, and if you have questions for Salim, he's here as well. I'll conclude my remarks. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Khan. Let's go to Mr. Karimi, and then I'm sure there will be all kinds of questions about elastomeric paint, torch-down roofs, and who knows what else. So,
good afternoon. I'm available, and I'm here today to answer any questions that any of you may have. I really don't have any comments here to provide, but I'm available to answer any questions that any one of you may have.
are there any questions for Mr. Karimi at this point? Mr. Yusefian.
Did staff early on met with you about the decision that was made on the solar panels?
That's right.
Okay, so you understood the issue?
I understand the issue, and I'm not sure at this point of time, like I explained to staff, whether it would work as proposed we are going to explore this. This is really new cutting edge in terms of these solar credits. It's really fresh off the books, and how you combine it with low-income housing tax credits and kind of disassociate it from the partnership is something that we are going to explore. And if there are any monetary benefits that can be achieved via these solar credits, we'll be happy to share with the Housing Authority.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask.
Yes, and even on the solar rebates, we are going to run it through our investor limited partner to make sure that they are okay with this distribution of the solar rebates, since essentially the partnership will have paid for the system, but the rebates are getting diluted. So this is just something we heard from them, and we pledge to work with the housing staff to reach whatever agreement
My understanding is it is part of the contract, and we're going to approve a contract. If we approve a contract, that's going to be it. So I don't understand your comments when you say, well, we're going to talk to our partners and come back. My understanding is, Mr. City Manager, when we're done today, right?
When we're done today, we're done today. I think his reference is to the process for marketing solar tax credits. I think that's what you're referring to.
He's talking about the $500 and some odd thousand.
And also the rebates.
The rebates.
We just heard about the direction that we got today.
Okay.
The solar credits or the rebates were never part of our original, agreements. So if you may want to call it that, in connection with these additional net proceeds sharing. And what I'm trying to say is, we just heard today that this is the ratio that they would like to be shared. The rebates 50-50, the solar credit 60-40.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we are able to disassociate these items from the partnership and somehow give the benefit to the housing authority via the solar credits that and the rebates, we would do so. But it's hard for me to answer the question, right, standing here today, whether that can be possible or not. We will definitely explore it. We will definitely try, but we have not talked about this or run this by any of the investors who are going to be buying the credits.
So let me ask you a question. If your investors say no, what are you going to do? You're going to come back again?
I hope not, but I may have to, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yusefian. Mr. Quintero. Mr. Weaver.
No, Mr. Sevin said, this is it.
Well,
Yeah, so I don't know, once we've agreed to it, we possibly re-agendize and talk about it again.
Well, that's
I guess that's something we got to find out.
I think where we are here then with this question, and I'm sorry, Ms. Brazzi, I did not mean to jump over you. I will come back to you in a moment. But to our city attorney, we're about to approve a contract, in essence. What recourse would the speaker have once we approve this and he discovers that his investors, as he describes them, say no?
What's before you is a contract, that's correct, Mr. Mayor, and the proposal would be to approve the contract as proposed with the amendments that Mr. Zovak referenced. And if there's a change that needs to be made to that, they would need to come back to the Housing Authority for amendment of that contract.
All right, so it happened in the form of an amendment.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Ms. Prezi. All right. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
All right. In terms of the project architect, he is here. Are there questions?
Yeah.
Mr. Yusefian.
I need a question as far as the height of the parapet.
If you could please
I know you have a
come
parapet.
forward and state your name, please, for the record.
Hello, my name is John Harapetian, and I'm the architect of the project. I'm living in Glendale. I'm here to raise a question.
I'd like to know what the height of the parapet is and what is the height of the solar panels and air conditioners from the top of the roof to the top of the structure or whatever that is.
Yeah, The height of parapet is 3 foot 8 inches.
Okay.
To my recollection, and it is covered all the solar system, and it covered all the AC units is there.
Okay.
So it's not shown from the outside.
So when I look from outside,
It's gonna
I'm
see
going to
only
see
that
that.
one. There is
I
no
will not
other
see any of the air
single thing.
conditioners, nothing. Would I see any hoods or any pipes from the water heaters or any of that stuff?
You will see the stairs which is going up to the roof,
Right.
and next to the stairs, of course, there's going to be shaft.
There's going to be a shaft, and the
For
stuff's going to be
ventilation.
inside the shaft.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's going to be
that's
inside the
fine.
shaft. Yes.
And Mr. Mayor, the reason I ask is because I've seen VRB approve projects that look very attractive until after they get built, and you drive by and you have this little 4-inch pipe sticking out of everywhere, and it completely destroys the look of the building. So that's why I'm asking to
Well,
make sure.
let's just ask Mr. Youssefian a more general question then. What will be sticking off the roof of this building that is not in the drawings that have been submitted as
The
part of the
stairs
plan?
and a shaft next to the stairs.
Okay.
That's all we have, and the elevator shaft it has to go up because of we have a upper level. So that's it. We don't have anything showed except those.
All right, so no perpetual motion machines, no geothermal, no windmills.
No.
All right.
And it will be
All right.
treated to be consistent with the
Part of the building.
building.
Part
Yes,
of this,
good.
yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments? Yes, Mr. Youssefian. I mean, Mr. Quintero, pardon me.
Before the vote, I was unable to attend the closed session. The airport authority changed the meeting to today. So can I vote for this and abstain on the other, on the solar issue?
You could vote for it, Mr. Mr. Quintero, excuse me, and or you could abstain on item 1D, which has to do with the approval of the agreement. If you don't feel like you can make an
Okay.
informed decision on it.
Abstain on 1D?
Yeah. I should say it's not required. Again, there's no requirement that you had to have been at the earlier session to participate in
So
this
then I'll
particular
just
item.
vote for everything.
Mr. Weaver.
Need some motions?
Well, let me see if we have any other comments or questions.
Close the hearing?
Oh,
Yeah,
just a
close
minute.
it.
Mr. Najarian?
I do have a question. One of the items is the mitigation for the mitigation monitoring, and the park impact fee will be due upon the issuance of the certificate of occupancy.
That's correct.
So it's a $1 million park fee.
It's
that
a little
they'll
bit
be
over $1
paying.
million, like $1,050,000. Some.
And then the earlier project also is contributing how much? $1 million approximately?
It's a little bit under $1 million.
Towards that. Okay.
That's correct.
That's my only question.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Ms.
I
Perez?
have a question on units. I believe Mr. Zov should answer me. How many units? On the report it says 2 3-bedroom units for the manager. Is there 2 managers or just one?
Project of this size, the decision is that there will be 2 managers.
Let me also close the hearing at this point. Mr. Weaver, anything else?
No?
Okay. Yes, sir.
I will make a final comment. I'm happy that we're here today, that this is going to be finalized somewhat. I was in the general area, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, and when this project is built, it's going to be a great contribution to the neighborhood. So I'm glad we're finally sort of completing the project and moving on to the construction phase.
Okay. Very good. All right. I have no further speakers. I have no
Al?
further comment.
So I can make the motions to
You
you
can.
for any of them.
You can
So I'd
indeed.
like to move 1A and C for the agency.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on item 1A and C. Those are
Agency.
agency. So let's
Let's take the roll then on 1A and C, agency resolutions.
Agency members Draymond,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Yusefian,
Aye.
Chairman Najarian.
Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to move 1B for the city council.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on item 1B, which is a city council item.
Council members Najarian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Yusefian,
Aye.
Mayor Draymond.
Yes.
Mr. Yusefian?
I would like to make a motion on 1D and E for
Second.
the Housing Authority.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, can we just break those up? Because 1D has to be,
Wait, you're
I'm
going-
sorry, I do apologize. We do have to break up 1D just to add
Oh.
that it's as revised by the additions and modifications made by Mr. Zovak. in
So
public
it should be 1D at this point.
That's correct.
All right.
Second,
Modifications.
with the modifications.
1D with modifications. There's a second. Roll call.
Authority members Draymond,
Yes.
Mincy,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Brazilian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Abstain.
Weaver,
Aye.
Chairman Yusefian.
No.
And I would like to move now 1E for housing.
Second,
Roll call.
Yes.
Authority members Draymond,
Yes.
Mincy,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Brazilian,
Yes.
Quintero,
Is this the tax credit?
This is just with
You
respect to
just
resolution
abstained on the
appropriation.
tax credit.
Yes.
Weaver,
aye.
Chairman Yusefian.
Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn the Housing Authority?
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned for Housing Authority.
For agency?
Moved. So moved.
Agency's adjourned.
And a motion to adjourn for city council.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Record should reflect that we are still in closed session in recess of the original council meeting at 1 o'clock.
That's for council.